Now we have number 19 of the Atelier of Power, Atelier of Power, not Trainers Training, that will be the video for next year. Okay, now we have number 19 of the Atelier of Power Event Producers series. This Event Producers series is being created because I no longer have any willingness to be repeating myself. I wrote most of this information and made it on a website, and people are not really reading it, so now it's on videos. So any questions, comments, attempts by organizers to tell me what I should believe, they'll simply be given a link to one of these videos instead of my time being wasted. I have 18 books to write, and these books can be written if I'm not repeating myself. So we have the number 19, Assistance Energetic Alignment. Now, the organizer in choosing assistance or allowing assistance, or simply in welcoming assistance at the beginning of the day, needs to know that assistants ideally have done the advanced courses and are aware of a lot more information than is on the course. However, the presence of the assistants is an energetic matrix. All the energy which changes the people in the room come through the assistants. So if the assistants only care about the students in the room, the assistants' lives will be forever changed, because the energy to change 60 people will come through 4 assistants. That will change their life. If the assistants are there because they want their own change, well, something okay will happen, but not much. They won't be very good as an assistant, and they won't receive as much themselves as if they are aligned just to help everybody else. Part of the alignment of assistants is being there early, breathing together for a moment before the course starts, observing that the room is correct and set up, and being aligned and enthusiastic to welcome the students in, be so excited as the students come in, knowing how much they're going to gain. And that welcoming presence will make so much difference to how alive every person feels in the room. At the end of the day, there should be a debriefing where assistants say whatever problems they might have heard, whatever clarifications they might want, whatever things they need to learn, and the assistants can work together to solve some small problems. The types of problems that assistants sometimes create is based upon if they act out of normal common animal implanting instead of on the basis of the course. For example, say someone screams that life isn't fair, I feel so abandoned because nobody is working with me. Alright, so maybe the assistants don't know how common a pattern that is. A person who feels has had abandonment issues all of their life normally hides in the corner and doesn't participate in the course to first make themselves be abandoned. Then when everyone's starting to watch, okay, why is this guy not participating? Suddenly, nobody cares about me and I feel abandoned. Now they make a public show of their abandonment because, that's what that symptom is created for, and it's normal and it's common, and it's okay. Students are allowed to do this because that's part of the process. However, that doesn't mean an assistant needs to take it seriously. So if someone's making a big noise like this, I can already hear them, so you don't need to run over with a microphone. You just go and kind of watch, breathe. If the person is doing whatever and I'm satisfied doing whatever I am doing about that, leave me to do it. Now, if I'm working on some person as a demonstration, and someone makes an interference like chatting about what they had for breakfast, well, the assistants will immediately hold a finger to their mouth, ask them to leave the room or whatever is necessary, that they honour the demonstrations that are happening. I shouldn't need to stop and ask for assistance to be polite, or say if somebody asks me a question and I've said half a sentence back because there's a translator who can't remember a whole sentence. Alright, now I said the half sentence back and somebody else asks a question. Well, assistants should have just signed them to keep their mouth closed. Because if I'm answering a question, almost every question anyone is going to ask is the answer to their question is what I was about to say anyway. They don't need to ask a question in the middle of another question. So two people speaking at once, assistants will quieten the second person down. It's completely unnecessary for two to speak at once. In fact, most things can be done with very little speaking. And part of the job of the assistants is to align to the course itself. So if it's the activation course and some assistant thinks he can see some dark energy in somebody and want to rip it out because he thinks he's powerful and knows how to do this, well, he doesn't actually need to, because if it's the activation course and that's not part of the course, the assistants need to help show that the materials of the activation course can solve whatever is happening in the activation course. So to do a big demonstration, some clever thing is actually disturbing the course. It breaks the students' confidence that they can do what's in the course if they think someone needs to run over and save them. Assistants don't need to run to me to save a person. For example, one woman suddenly cried because it was a timeline workshop, and when she was a child her mother exploded, and there was a real explosion. Her mother was killed in the explosion, and the person went back to this event and started crying. And the assistants ran over to me like there's an emergency. How's that an emergency? Like, the person's mother exploded. Were you listening? Isn't she allowed to cry for like a minute? Like, you got some problem with this? Like, they run to me like I should run and solve it. And it's such a completely ordinary, simple thing. But they're not seeing what the problem is. They ran away. The person has had this trauma. She's sharing what the trauma is like. And if the people run to me to solve it, the person feels abandoned, like the therapist ran away. Stay there and finish the job. That's what you do. You don't ask what to do. The instructions were already there. So that is for assistants to be aligned to use on the course what's on the course to solve what is on the course, and not to invent that there's a drama, that something more complex will be necessary. And serving the course in this way, your lives will forever be changed, because the amount of energy that can come through the room is decided by how focused is the leadership, how focused are the assistants, and if they are focused, the amount of change possible is so great that without thinking about yourself, you will forever have a better life. Alright, so that was Assistance Energetic Alignment, number 18 in the series, Atelier of Power, Event Producers Series.